Now, the Ghana Police Service says it has shot 2 suspects and arrested another in connection with last Friday's robbery at Caprice. The incident left a lady driver with gunshot wounds. Details on their status of the investigation are contained in the following statement. Now, according to the police, they've arrested these 2 colleagues in a battle that ensued between them as they apprehended these suspects. Now, the police says 2 armed robbers have been shot dead. 1 other has been arrested. The robbers engaged in the police in a shootout at their hideout. Now, this is in connection with robbery attack at Caprice on Friday, 9th December 2022. A female victim was attacked, shot, and robbed at Caprice on that fateful day. She sustained sustained police intelligence led to the police to the robbery gang's hideout. A police officer sustained gunshot injury to his thigh, and he is under medical care. Now, the police assures the public that all the gang members will be arrested. Now, my colleague Richard Kojo was on ground at the time of the police arrest and exchange of gunshot with a suspect at Budumbram and Father's report.
The shooting incident happened at Gomwa Budumburam Lorry Station in the Gomwa East District of the Central Region. Police sources say the suspected robbers first opened fire on the police officers, which resulted in the gun battle. The suspected robbers are said to have links with the robbers that shot a foreigner at Caprice and took her money away last week. The police officers gunned down 2 of them and managed to seize the motorbike they used in the operation. 2 of them unfortunately escaped, but the police say they are on a hunt for them. An eyewitness spoke to JoyNews. We suspect they may have gone to rob somewhere and they wanted to pass with their booty. All we saw was that the robbers had started opening fire on the police. When they opened fire on the police, a bullet hit a police officer. It was then that the police also opened fire on them. 2 of them died. We thank the police for rising up to the occasion. We want the police to arrest the 2 that are currently on the run, so we could have our peace in this camp. Meanwhile, some of the residents at Gomwa Budumburam have commended the Ghana Police Service for the hard work in dealing with situations of that nature.
Biton ye nimbe bi omo fi ina omo ba haya tensi omo abachi omo ha ba sankasa de we no anka kane no omo si labere camp edi boni na omo bo labere camp na stress omo njai na ebi na anro bi o ya tensi omo abeku omo labere camp ya no ba sanka ya omo anchi aye na ye ho akire ye nti ye mo ati police for no omo yes I do no nyame mo omo duma nya kese.
The body of the deceased have been sent to the morgue while the injured police officer is receiving attention at the hospital. Reporting for JoyNews, Richard Kojo, Gomwa Budumburam.
To other stories now, and the opposition National Democratic Congress will this weekend head to Congress to elect national executives. Key to watch is the position of national chairman, with incumbent Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo slugging it out with the party's General Secretary Johnson Asiedu Nketia and 2 others. There is, however, a new face to the race, who is undoubtedly the youngest among them. Former Deputy Works and Housing Minister Samuel Yao Eduse says the delegate must reject what he calls the established force if it wants to win the next election. From the political desk, this is Elton Brober's report. We'll bring you that report later on, but let's still stick with the NDC, because the opposition National Democratic Congress held an election over the weekend to elect the youth organizer and the national women's organizer. But it ended that the both incumbent, that's the youth organizer and then the women's organizer, were able to maintain their positions. We'll bring you details of that story, plus what to expect on Saturday as the party heads into the Congress after this break. Okay, so welcome back from the break. The opposition National Democratic Congress will be heading into this weekend to have its Congress to elect national executives. But before that, there was one held over the weekend to elect the national youth organizer of the party and the national women's organizer of the party. My colleague Richard Kojo was there for us and joins me now on Zoom to bring us up to speed with how the election went on Saturday. Kojo, thank you so much for joining us. You were there. Run us through how the processes went on that Saturday.
Well, so the conference was in twofold. So the first one were speeches. So there was an address by the national chairman of the NDC, the regional chairman, and the chairman of the local organizing committee, Alex Sebefia. And that went on smoothly. And then there was time for the elections to be conducted. And that was where the confusion started. The disagreement led to hours of hold up. And so the elections that were supposed to have been started very early, they ended up starting a little before 7 p.m. And so voting went on. There were no issues until some exchange of blows, disagreement and all of that, but the police and then the party security guards were able to bring the situation under control. And then outside the new examination center, the event venue, is fire the situation.
Well, could your network it keeps breaking, and that we're not able to follow you so well. After you veered into reporting for us what happened at the new examination center, outside of that facility, your network started breaking, so we were not following you so well. But if you can have a better connection and you can hear me, kindly let us understand what happened outside the premises of the new examination center. That's where you were when the network started breaking up. Okay, so my colleague Richard Kojo will be joining us. Okay, so I'm told we have him back on the line. Kojo, your line tripped a little after you went to tell us what went on at outside of the new examination center. What happened?
Well, so confusion erupted. There were rival factions that were hitting themselves with stones, with cudgels, with clubs, with chairs, anything in sight. And so it went bloody. 3 persons got injured because someone's head was hit with a stick. And so blood started oozing from the head of that person. The ambulance team was on site to take care of the situation. They had to rush these 3 persons to the University of Cape Coast Hospital. The police had to fire some warning shots in order to bring the situation under control. And so that was how the entire thing panned out. But apart from that, the elections, when it started, it was a good organization. Everything went on smoothly until the first disagreement that disrupted the process. And then what happened outside the precinct of the new examination center. So the election results were announced few minutes before 2 a.m. on Sunday.
Interesting. That should have been a very long one. But after the issues were resolved, how were the two camps? How did they take it?
Well, so the acrimonies were still there. So it was evident in the speeches, the victory speech that was given by the incumbent national youth organizer, Jojo Pariado. He said, well, it is not everyone that he is going to forgive, and sent a clear signal and message to the party's bigwig that when issues start emerging within the ranks and file of the party, the elders of the party should really be proactive by resolving the issue. They do not have to wait for the issues to get out of hand before something happening. So in the days, that are coming, when things begin to degenerate, they should not blame anybody, but he is forgiving a lot of the people, but for some, he cannot assure that he will forgive all of them. And same things were said by the winner, the eventual winner, and the incumbent women organizer, Louisa Hannah-Bissell. He said that it was really difficult, an election that was characterized by a lot of acrimonies, a lot of, backbiting and all of that. And she didn't really think that NDC as a party should be going through that period of crisis when they are even in opposition. And this was really summed up by the local chair of the local organizing committee, Alex Sebefia, and he intimated that the NDC party should not be proud of what they have done in Cape Coast, of the events and then the things that have happened. He was not really happy and said that investigations would be conducted to ensure that such things do not recur as they move into electing the national chairman and other officers of the party.
The more visible issue will be between Broja Jemfi and then Oparado. Oparado, as you said, really said what he wants to do. It's not everybody that he would forgive. But what about Broja Jemfi? Did he speak? What was his body language after the election that he lost?
Also, they left because the election was too close to call contest. When it started, no one knew who was going to win. So it was evident in the results that we received that it was very close, 533 as against 508. And so it was very close. So that is why the acrimony started. But each of them is backed by some big wigs of the party. And so what erupted the confusion, we're told, was when Sammy Jemfi entered where the aspirants are supposed to be, and that triggered counter reactions at the new examination center. That was what led to the first confusion that erupted. And so the body language, people were not really cool, even though, yes, they have elected new national leaders in terms of the youth and women, but the victors were okay, but those who lost were not really okay. They felt that their side should have won. And it reveals the cracks within the front of the youth front of the NDC and then the women front of the NDC as well.
All right, Kojo, I'm grateful that you could join us with those details. Richard Kojo was our man on the beat for us now. The NDC will head into this weekend to have their Congress to elect national executives to add up to the 2 they have already elected. Key to watch is the position of national chairman, with incumbent Samuel Ofosu Ampofo for slugging it out with the party's general secretary Johnson Asedu Nketia and 2 others. There is, however, a new phase to the race, who is undoubtedly the youngest among them, former Deputy Works and Housing Minister Samuel Yao Edusei. He says the delegate must reject what he calls the established force if he wants to win the next election. From the political desk, this is Elton Brobe's report.
Samuel Yao Edusei comes on board as the youngest to contest the chairmanship of the party. But he says he's unfazed by the might of incumbent Ofosu Ampofo and Johnson Asedu Nketia. The former Deputy Ashanti Regional Minister, as well as Works and Housing in the second term of former President Mahama's administration, says the delegates must look beyond the established candidates because they are out of touch with reality.
They have been in the party for a longer time, so they are well established, but their credentials have not evolved in recent times. Chairman Ofosu Ampofo has led the party in different capacities into 4 elections. He had won 1. And the General Secretary has led that to 4 elections. He had won 2 and lost 2. They have led the party to lose to 2 consecutive defeats. You understand? So I'm not saying they haven't done their best. They have done their best. But I think that when you are giving the the opportunity to serve and you are not able to deliver, you have to step aside for fresh ideas, for fresh energy, for new dimension in the leadership, for new direction in the leadership, in order for us to change the narrative, in order for us to get a better results in the very near future.
Member of the Bantama constituency in the Ashanti region, Samuel Yawaduse began his politics at the early stage of his life and has risen through the ranks and file of the party from the branch to the national level. The two-time parliamentary candidate for the NDC in the Bantama constituency also served as branch secretary, chairman, ward coordinator, and constituency executive member. He has also been a member of the party's communication department at the constituency, regional and national levels. He said he has what it takes to mobilize the youth and floating voters for electoral victory in 2024.
We could see the youthful exuberance in me. I am the youngest amongst them. You know, if my memory serves me right, I may be the youngest person to ever contest for this position. You understand? And I represent a kind of dynamism in the leadership of the party. The dynamism that we haven't seen for a while. I think so. That is what makes me stand out amongst these men that I'm contesting for the position with. So, and is this a purposeful young man from Ashanti region, about 47 constituencies, region with the largest, highest number of constituencies. And I mean, this representation will go a long way to help our aim or our purpose of securing 30% or more in Ashanti region.
The biochemist will also holds an MBA in finance and economics from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, as well as an LLB from the University of London's training of party agents, as well as the rolling out of a robust election collation system will be his main priority if elected as national chairman.
When it comes to the security, it's not only macho, it's not only this kind of, the security goes beyond that. If you are providing people at various police stations, it must be directly linked to the process. And for that matter, one aspect that we have failed to look at is the detail of security personnel to various police stations. I realize that most of them are not well trained. It's something that I'll propose at IPAC, at any level that we have the strength to do, that we have to get time to train the security personnel that we detail them, we send them to various police stations. Because if they are well trained and any party agent raises an issue, they will understand why the party is raising an issue. At times, most of these constituency executives may not even know their right, they may not know their right, they may not know what is to insist on. So we have to make sure that they are provided with this adequate information, which under my chairmanship, I will ensure that all these things are provided.
Elton Brobe for JoyNews.
Now to other stories. The Northeast Regional Director of the Highways, Engineer Andrew Kerry, has revealed that the construction firm working on the Naleregu, Nakpanduri, Bumburubu and Wulugu Pasempe Road has threatened to abandon the project over non-payment. He also confirmed reports that the contractor, City Limited, has begun demobilizing its equipment and key staff from its camp located at Pemali in the Bumburubu Nakpanduri district. The director was speaking as he faced tough interrogation from members of the Regional Coordinating Council during a special meeting held as part of its core mandate to review and coordinate public services in the region.
Northeast Regional Coordinating Council held its end-of-year meeting to review its activities for the year 2020 and plan on how to deliver effective coordination of public service in the region. The meeting, which the council is mandated to hold at least twice a year, also provides the opportunity for heads of public services to provide and present their success and challenges. Regional Minister Idana Zakari presented an overview of the developmental achievement and challenges for the year. At the meeting, the Regional Director of the Ghana Highways Authority, Engineer Andrew Okere, faced tough interrogation from members of the council, especially the chief executives of the various district and municipal assemblies, who wanted explanations for the continued delay in the completion of road projects in their respective areas. The municipal chief Executive for West Mampresi, Arimia Osumulaki, asked the director to explain the reason for the stoppage of upgrading works on the 38-kilometer Wulugu-Wiase Road project, which was commenced in 2018 by the Chinese City Ghana Construction Limited. The municipal presiding officer, Ibrahim Sibian, added that unless the road was completed, the operations of the new ultramodern STEM Senior High School at Pasingpe will be severely disrupted.
That stretch of road was full of culverts, but they are all removed. Per your plan, there's not going to be any culvert there. But it's a place that is liable to flood around that stretch of road. So what action have you taken so far to remedy the situation? Because next year, January, the school will start with enrollment of students.
The district chief executive for Bunkurgu, Joseph Loknan, on the other hand, questioned the director about the Nalerugu-Napanduri Bunkurgu road project, which has been undertaken by the same Chinese construction firm. In his response, the highways director said the challenge was due to non-payment to the contractor.
The issue is because of delayed payment, the road, and then they were saying that they might want to terminate. But I know that the ministry is working to find a solution. Because that one, we have written to the ministry, passed on their concerns to them. The Wulugu is also being handled by the same contractor, so the issues are similar. So they have passed a letter through me recently to head office and to the ministry. And I know the ministry is working on it to have that project in the very near future kickstarted.
The upgrading of both roads was in 2019 respectively. However, work has since stalled on both roads after the 2020 election.
But as I said, whatever letter they pass through us, we have sent it to ministry. So we are expecting a response from ministry, and then we can adequately brief you. And I think the employer is finding means to address that situation for now.
Now, the Ghana Union of Traders is asking members of the business community to consider adjusting prices of goods and services as the cedi gains marginal stability. The country's currency, which is ranked amongst the worst performing legal tenders in the world, forced the traders to shut down their shops last month as part of moves to mount pressure on government to deal with the situation. In the last few days, the cedi appreciated against the US dollar and is now trading a little below 13 Ghana cedis. Given this level of appreciation, Guta is lauding government for its effort as it is asking members to also act accordingly by adjusting prices on the market. Dr. Joseph Obeng is president of Guta.
According to the changes, the same way when the prices were going, when the dollar was going up, we went up with our prices. It's the same way that when the dollar comes down, we also have to come down. So it's the natural sequence of business. And that's why we are appealing to our members to make the necessary adjustment and make also struck the necessary averages. Some may have different kind of excuses because this one is relative to each importer, because some might say that they imported their goods earlier, some might say that. So we all have to strike the reasonable averages so that the impact will be felt positively by the consuming public, who have suffered a great deal for the past 3 months. And especially when Christmas is coming, we have to give this to the consuming public so that they can have the respite and also enjoy the Christmas festivities. So we are very grateful by the government effort of stabilizing the currency, and we even encourage government to sustain it so that businesses will thrive, consuming public will also have the respite, and then we envisage a quicker and faster turn around of our economy.
Mr. Obeng, I am particular about implementation because I recall actively when the dollar kept rising, you led campaigns to ensure that government act. Now we are seeing some gains. How are you going to ensure that the average woman on the market is actually reducing the price of the goods and services? As president of the association, what are you going to be doing on the grounds to ensure we see this reflect?
It has actually started showing. From last week, I deal in electrical products, and the cable rose up to 1.5 cable rose up to 300 Ghana cedis. Now it has come down to 270. It has started showing, see the business that we do there, and the competition that we have among ourselves, and the fact that the exchange rate is the major indicator of our prices. When it comes down, you cannot overprice yourself out of the competition that we have in there. And of course, we have consumers also to serve. If you do not have customers, you are not a business person. So every business will want to service his customer. And so this must do something. When the trend comes down, we adjust positively.
Let's just stay with traders because shop owners at Roman Ridge are protesting government's intention to eject them without any resettlement plan or agreement. They also say the notice of vacation issued to them was too short and are demanding at least 1 year period with compensation to enable them relocate. They made their concerns known at the news conference. There's more in this report.
The aggrieved shop owners at Roman Ridge say their shops are their main source of livelihood. Earlier in July this year, the Ministry of Works and Housing served them a notice to move their shops within their neighborhood within 2 weeks. Subsequent engagement with government over the matter resulted in an extension of the time for affected persons to relocate their structures. According to them, the move was to enable government to redevelop the entire enclave.
We just had this notification that was in July that we had only 2 weeks to vacate this place. So we went to the ministry, and it was difficult initially to do anything about it. But upon interaction, they asked us to meet them, the minister. So we met the minister and the management, and we asked for extension, and they only gave us 2 months. Yes, 2 months ended in October, and we're given another month, which ended in November. According to them, they want to do townhouses. Yes, we have same at the other side.
One of them, Mrs. Sewa Samwa, said they were assured of signing an MOU with government regarding their relocation. That has, however, not seen the light of day.
So we had a meeting with Ministry of Works and Housing together with the Minister for Works and Housing concerning the problem that is at stake, and they promised us to relocate us, get a place for us before, or build the shops for us. But they're supposed to give us MOU, which we have not received anything, sadly.
With the news conference, the shop owners in Roman Ridge are hopeful government will heed their call and respond positively. A report by Semafa Rejoice and Lois Tay, read to you.
Now, United States Ambassador to Ghana, Virginia Palmer, has noted with concern that freedom of speech has been under threat in Ghana. Ghana earlier this year dropped 30 places from 2021 to rank 60th on World Press Freedom Index 2022. This follows a series of red flags issued by civil society groups and the U.S. State Department, which expressed worry of the unlawful arrest of some journalists working in Ghana. Speaking on foreign affairs, Ambassador Palmer indicated that there is room for improvement on issues of press freedom in Ghana and also in the U.S.
The U.S. Human Rights Report, I'm a political officer, so I've written many of those reports during my career, and I view them as a helpful tool to people in government who say, oh, look, this is an issue of concern to the international community, and so that good guys, you know, in government and outside of government have space to improve human rights. And Ghana and the United States share common democratic values, but both of us have room to improve. So indeed, I'm afraid that freedom of speech, which is a huge, important value to Ghana's success, has been under threat. You dropped something like 30 places in the international ranking. And so, indeed, we have called attention of that to the government. And I've been happy to celebrate the success of Ghana's free press at things like the West Africa Journalist Association Awards and the Ghana Journalist Association Awards. And let me say to you, while we're sitting here, how important what you do is to Ghana's democracy, to the transparency of the business environment. I think it's just good for Ghana's economy and whole system.
These findings were in 2021, then and now. Do you see an improvement?
I think there's more attention to the issue, and there have been arrests, though, of journalists for various things, and we track that very carefully and with concern.
If we're to improve, which areas should we be focused on as a nation?
I think, I mean, it's an uncomfortable position for politicians to have to know that they're going to get called out by journalists, and I think everybody has to acknowledge that that's important to the whole process, and it's important to success. That things will get done better if people know that at the end of the day they're going to get examined.
Now, the Ghana Education Outcomes Project, JOB, a program that seeks the inclusion of school dropout into schools, is set to commence in January 2023. In an interview with JoyNews, the director for the pre-tertiary education revealed that the project will reintegrate out-of-school children in selected regions. He revealed this at the 5th anniversary and the 3rd graduation ceremony of Accra College of Education Demonstration School.
Dreams and aspirations of children are often truncated due to the inability of their parents to fund for their education. School children who are affected by this twist in fate, however, have no option than to drop out of school. In the light of this, the Ministry of Education, through the Ghana Education Outcomes Project, is seeking to bring school dropout back to school. The Director for Pre-Tertiary Education, Nana Bafuewa, says the project aims to equip school dropout within the period of 9 months.
The program is Christian Job. Job, that is Ghana Education Outcome Project. It's part of the Gallup project, which is being sponsored by World Bank, and it's going to take place in all the 4 northern regions, that is Savannah, Northern, Upper East, Upper West, Oti region, Ashanti, and then Greater Accra. What they are going to do is that they will select 25 out-of-school children in a class. If it is more than that, they will push you to the next school. If it is less than that, they will go to the next school. And they are going to train them in English and maths for 9 months.
Speaking to JoyNews, the headmistress of Accra College of Education Demonstration School, Doris Akosia, raised concerns about the state of their facilities, explaining it can no longer house the growing number of student population. She therefore called on government to come to their aid.
As I speak to you now, the demonstration school has grown from 596. We had a double stream, but now we have 3 streams. And currently, our JHS is relocated to the College of Education, which shouldn't be. They should be at the main demonstration school. But thankfully, the Member of Parliament is currently, by the aid of the government, is putting up a structure that hopefully next academic year our JHS students will come back to the main campus. So we need more infrastructure, that is in the form of the facility, the space. Right now there's a high crave for admission, but we don't have people we don't have place to accommodate them. A lot of people want to be in the school, this school in particular.
Meanwhile, the Member of Parliament for Ablekuma South constituency, Alfred Oko van der Poy, is calling for the restructuring of the education system to reduce wasteful spending in these hard times.
Education needs all the support that as a country we can give to that area of our development. Given where we find ourselves right now with the hardship, the economic hardship, and the financial struggle that our country is going through, we may have to restructure the way we are doing things. Yes, our constitution enjoins us to ensure that we provide quality education to all of our children. But can we do it universally, or can we do it progressively? But given where we are now, we need to relook at the free SHS. Those who can pay, we should give them the opportunity to pay. And those who need support, we must give them support. There are students in this country that really need our support as a nation.
The MP says government is poised to support education system to make the environment conducive for learning. Prince Owusu Ansai's report for JoyNews.
Yes, we're watching News Desk here on the JoyNews channel. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll bring you business. Stay with us.
Hi, welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Now, the Bui Power Authority, in partnership with the University of Energy and Natural Resources and the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, is coming out with a training model for engineering students on renewable energy. Renewable Energy Director at BPA, Wisdom Ahiataku, Togobo says that about €1 million proposed project with funding support from the German Academic Development Service would help build students' capacity and practical knowledge. He spoke at an assessment tour of stakeholder facilities in Sunyani. Precious Somerville has more.
Engineering students at the University of Energy and Natural Resources and the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology require further training to better manage engineering facilities after school. And to achieve this, Bui Power Authority teamed up with the two institutions and submitted a proposal to the German Academic Development Service for support to build the capacity of students and lecturers on renewable energy. A team from DAD and the Technical University of Berlin have assessed facilities in Ghana, including the Regional Center for Renewable Energy and Environmental Sustainability World Bank project at UNE, and Bui Generation sites as the industrial site ahead of a training model. BPA's Renewable Energy Director, Wisdom Ahiataku Togobo, said the partnership would equip students and boost productivity.
Bui Power, our business is to generate electricity and sell into the grid, and we generate electricity from renewable energy source. We don't use foreigners to run the plant for us. We use our own locally trained engineers. So this is why we think that if we are able to build that practicality skills in them, it becomes easier. We don't have to employ engineers before we start training them, but we would have had already trained engineers who understand the field and they will hit the ground running. And we are looking forward to a funding support of about €1 million. Students, lecturers, and engineering staff from BPA will have the opportunity to visit Germany to see how these things are done.
Dean of the School of Energy, UNE, Professor Samuel Jemfi, said they are also exploring how students can create jobs in the renewable energy sector.
All the students that come to do renewable energy engineering will be exposed to somehow this project. So they will all have this structure that we are going to put in place so that it will be part of their education. And not only that, we also want to put in entrepreneurship and innovation so that when they graduate, if they must not only look for employment, so that they will be able to employ themselves. We are also looking keenly into that because there's a lot of business in renewable energy, a lot of business in energy efficiency that students have to be exposed to.
A member of the assessors, Stefan Wolf, emphasized their assistance in finding local solutions.
BUI is a very important partner, and BUI can also channeling the interest of the industry in renewables into the curriculum approach, curriculum development, curriculum review. It's an important role for BUI and also what they are already doing here. We can share our experiences with you, like our companies or associations are doing it, and then you have to find your own solution. And we are only for inspiring you, not for giving you a solution from Germany to copy it.
Precious Semevo, Joy Business, Sunyani.
Now, the Design and Technology Institute, in partnership with Accents and Arts Limited, organized its maiden edition of the annual Open House and Industrial Innovation Business-to-Business event for partners and stakeholders in Accra. The event saw winners of the Community Innovation Competition display machines for agric and hospitality industries. Here's more in this report.
Made up of 4 teams, winners of the Community Innovation Competition were tasked to identify problems within their locality and develop innovative solutions to improve the livelihoods of their people. With a seed capital of up to $25,000 each, the team developed products like the cocoa pod breaking machine, a granite separator machine, a seed planter machine, and an adjustable barbecue grill machine. Participants shared more about their innovations with Joy Business.
So the reason for coming up with this device is that we realize most of the grills out there are made with low-grade food materials, and that there's stress involved when users are using it. So we came up with this machine, which comes with an adjustable fire unit and also a double flipping stainless steel food grade mesh, which is hygienic for use.
So this seed planter is used to plant maize, soya beans, groundnut and beans itself. So with this machine, we have a hopper that contains a selector inside. And some of the features that make the machine work is we have a ridger that make a trench. After the trench has been made, we also have a tube where the seed passes through. And we have something that brings up the soil together, and a roller behind it which covers the soil.
Currently here we have Haki Granite Thresher, which will help granite farmers thresh granite in time, faster and easier. Granite need immediate attention to harvest home. If this is not done within the shortest possible time, some germinate, some pests and disease get in contact with some become rotten. Coming to DTI and the trainer again in DTI, I've been able to come out with a solution that I will go back to help my community.
We know cocoa helps the country very much. And since 1879, Tete Kwashi brought in cocoa into the country, we've been using the same way and the same method of breaking the pod since he brought in the cocoa. So when we came to Design and Technology Institute, and we were told to bring out solutions to societal problems, me coming from the cocoa farming community, with my other team member, we brought up this machine, the cocoa aboafopa, the McFace cocoa aboafopa. So with this cocoa pod breaker, it is able to break 1,500 cocoa pod within an hour and 30 minutes. It is easy to be moved around. It has low fuel consumption. It can be moved from one place to the other, and it's easy to operate.
Technical consultants for the DTI Innovation Hub, Paul Isiedu, passionately urge industry players to foster an atmosphere that would allow these young students work alongside international experts to develop local capacity.
My hope is that the young people of this country are supported to do more with what they have learned and begin to solve problems on the ground. Create an environment that is enabling for people to explore. Something I have observed, there are gaps in skills, and so sometimes we even import those skills. But I would suggest that industry should bring some of these young people who are being trained with the TVET programs in DTI and elsewhere to tag along the professionals who come from outside so that they learn those skills, so that we can locally have that manpower.
The maiden open house event was in partnership with MasterCard Foundation and Young Africa Works.
And that's business. Thanks for watching. Sports is coming up next. Stay tuned.
All right, so welcome back from the break. Time for us to bring you sports. And Lawrence is here. Hiya, good morning.
Good morning, Bruce.
How are you?
I'm good. And you?
With Ronaldo out,
I
Ghana
know you
out.
don't look so happy.
Yeah,
so we are down to the last four of the
Just that Morocco
World
isn't
Cup.
there, so fine.
Probably that's where we all take our solace from. So we are down to the last four: Croatia, Argentina, France, and then Morocco.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting because Morocco have made history. Some years ago, Cameroon were there, Senegal were there, our own Black Stars were there at some point in 2010. But then we suffered the loss on penalties. But Morocco didn't give up. The fact that they did it against a team that was probably one of the favorites for this year's tournament, because Portugal had every resource available for them going into the World Cup, perhaps with the exception of Diogo Jota, who had to pick up a last-minute injury. They had everyone available. And then they were touted as one of the favorites. It didn't happen. Yeah, it didn't happen because they got knocked out in the quarterfinal stage by Morocco.
So Morocco is now the first African country to make it to the semi-finals of the World Cup.
And you look at the fashion with which Morocco have played this tournament. It tells you it's no fluke. They've been there because they are working hard. They've been there because they've put in the effort to reach this stage, to beat Belgium in the group stage, beat Spain in the round of 16, and then now beat Portugal. It tells you how good they've been. I think
is it just good, or because I listened to PM Express with Sani Dara and Nanajman, and they alluded to the fact that people have invested heavily in sports development. What has been Ghana's plan?
There's the side of investing in the sports facilities, in the development. But if you don't have these players playing to their best, there's no way you're going to achieve that. We've seen that with some countries who have the facilities, but they're not struggling. One thing I've liked about this Moroccan team is the fact that, you see, there are many foreign-born players. They bring them in, and then they don't fit in from the national team straight away. They start from the youth teams. So before they will be able to get to the senior side of the national team, they are adjusted to the team. They know themselves. They've played quite some games together. So there's this unity, there's this relationship that they have. What has not been good for us is the fact that we bring in some of these players, and then the moment we bring them there, we are expecting that they play from the Black Stars angle, and then some of these have struggled to settle in. For instance, after the World Cup, some of these players have mentioned the fact that they have not played together for long. So there's no, we expected them to deliver on the pitch, but then to them, because they've not played too well, they don't know how to settle. And that
one
probably
problem that confronts Ghana is our ability to keep a team together.
Yeah.
You remember when we won the under-20 in Egypt?
Yeah.
Everyone said if we could keep this team together for the next, 5-10 years, Ghana could do something. What did we see? We messed all of them up between 5 years. Most of them were gone.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think even with that squad, we did very well, because it was through that squad that we got some of the players to represent Ghana at the 2010 World Cup.
Yes, but that was
But then after
that was 2001 year.
Yeah, I'm saying that we kept some players. It wasn't just for 1 year. We kept some of them, because the likes of Andre, Jonathan Mensah, Samuel Nkum were there for some 2 to 3 years. It's just unfortunate that club level also affected their performances. I think going forward, we need to look at how we treat our national teams. We need to build around something, because even if you have the players and you don't have the facilities, you're going to struggle. Let's know how to blend some of these things, and then we get the desired results, because otherwise we are staying back. Again,
going for one of the things that people have spoken about, I've heard people like Nanajiman again speaking about, is the influence the GFA, has on the selection of the team. They have to allow coaches or managers to be independent, to select players they feel can do the work. But if this Moroccan coach had probably listened to the Moroccans, he would not have brought in this guy. What's his name? Ziyech.
Yeah,
but he believed in him and he said, look, I'll make you my star boy. Can we give that freedom to
I think it's very fair. And it's also fair if coaches will come out and probably mention that their works are being tampered with. Because prior to the tournament, prior to the announcement of his squad, Otuado comes on stage, and then the first thing he mentions is that the GFA is allowing him to do his work. He leaves, and then the first thing he says is that he thanks the GFA for allowing him to do his work, and then also adds that any coach who will come in
should be his own man.
And you don't understand.
Yeah, I understand.
The thing is, if you face some of these challenges, make it known, and then people will know how to go about this. But if you keep quiet and until you leave, you've already suffered a loss.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Morocco is coming up against.
They'll play France. I think, as at this point, as France probably are the biggest.
But whatever this tournament, if there's anything, this tournament has taught us. It has taught us that. Yeah. You can be favorite on paper, but on the field, it can be a different game.
Yeah, just like how I'm wishing Croatia can beat Argentina.
How?
I'm wishing Croatia can beat Argentina.
If Croatia beats Argentina, I'm cool.
I know you are happy with it because
I will be.
That man.
No, it's not because of anybody, but I will. I'll pray Morocco meet Croatia in the final than to meet Argentina.
That's fine.
Yeah. So if Croatia beats Argentina, I know Morocco will beat France. And then we can do something.
So yeah, let me get it on Tuesday.
I hope Morocco will be the first African country to lift the World Cup. It will be exciting.
I was coming with my cousin this morning. I was like, if Morocco win the World Cup, the whole Africa should get a holiday. Like, you didn't win it for them; they won it for themselves.
Anyway, that's how we wrap up the sport, and that's how we wrap up the bulletin. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo. The rest of the rest of our programs. Have a good morning.